Hello, everybody, and welcome to the E3 Predictions / Hopes podcast, I guess?
From SkyJam!
Hopes and Dreams! Yeah, welcome, everybody.
My name's Sky.
I'm Jam.
And I'm Brokev.
And we're here to talk to you about what we think is going to happen and hope is going to happen at E3.
Yes. Where do we even begin? What should we talk about first?
I think I know what we should mention right off the bat, which is that we're going to mention Smash Brothers in its own separate episode of the podcast coming out after this one.
Yes,
because that is such a big deal that it definitely needs its own discussion. So stay tuned for that afterwards. There's going to be everything not Smash Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything else, kind of.
Which I guess that's a great way to start. Do you think Nintendo's going to talk about anything that isn't Smash Brothers?
I would hope
they don't
so.
have to.
They don't. They did a year of only Breath of the Wild, and it worked out for them.
That's true.
So.
Like, they could and get away with it, but I hope not.
Yeah, no, I think there will be more. We know at least there's a Splatoon 2 tournament, so they remember they have other games.
Right. Yeah. It's Smash Tournament, Splatoon 2, and...
That's it. It's just those two.
It's just those two? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if there was like an ARMS one or something. Like, that's
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. Yeah. So, last E3, one of the biggest things was them revealing that they are making Metroid Prime 4.
Yes.
Quattro.
Quattro.
Quattro,
Yes.
thank you.
The Spanish Metroid.
Well, for Spanish and Hispanic-speaking viewers.
No, I'm saying like Metroid Prime 4 just has a Spanish theme to
Yeah,
it.
that's
Like,
Metroid Prime Quattro is the English name. It's a very different take on the Metroid.
Metroid Prime Quattro. Anyway,
God.
obviously very exciting. We were all freaking out. If you watch our reactions to
reactions,
E3
that's
last
right.
year, we were absolutely losing our minds over it. It's about time for another Metroid Prime game.
Yeah. I certainly hope we see it.
Yeah, I really hope so, because how could they give us, like, the title
And not the gameplay?
and then just, like, nothing for over a year? Like, I feel like...
Well, Breath of the Wild...
True. True. Say no more.
Honestly, I feel like they don't even need to do that much to satisfy us, because
No.
we've seen
Yeah, that's
literally
true.
nothing.
Yeah.
Even, like, a speck of gameplay would be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
To me.
Even like a 30-second trailer, like,
Yeah, give
fine.
me like just a video of Samus landing on a planet or
Right.
something, and then you like see her eyes through her visor, and it says Metroid Prime 4 2020 or whatever it is.
Right, like,
Yeah.
even like a cinematic, cutscene.
Yeah.
That would honestly satisfy me.
Right.
If they show a cinematic cutscene with a more clear release date,
Yeah. Some sort of window.
right,
'Cause-
I'd be chill with that.
Yeah, because, like, obviously it can always get delayed, but last year they did say 2018, so...
Well, Reggie said 2018,
You're right, Reggie did say 2018.
and the more I spend predicting
Reggie.
things with Nintendo and speculating and all that, the more I realize that Reggie maybe doesn't know as much as we all think he does.
Reggie's just a wild card, man.
There's no way to tell what Reggie's doing.
Yeah. But, yeah, literally, if we see, like, any more of Metroid Prime 4, I'll be happy. It doesn't have to be a lot.
I mean, if the time frame of 2018 is actually correct, we should see some gameplay.
Oh yeah, if it's coming
Yeah.
out this year, we will be seeing it.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether I believe it is. I don't think it actually is.
I'm not expecting, like, them to play it on the treehouse or anything like that.
Yeah.
But,
I don't think it's at that point yet. Who knows? They could have been working on it for years already and just secretly not revealed anything, but of course they didn't. That's not how that works in this industry.
Another thing that we know is happening that hasn't been mentioned since is a Fire Emblem Switch game.
Yes.
Yeah, boy.
That I think we're seeing.
Because it's been even longer. It's been a year and a half
That's right.
since we have heard that was a thing.
And
Wow, that's true.
They did officially announce it would come out in 2018, so I think we're
Yes.
definitely going to see whatever the next Fire Emblem is.
Which is extremely exciting.
The first console one since Radiant Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I was just about to say, I'm actually really happy it's on the Switch because you can play it just like a handheld, like 3DS game, or on your TV.
Yeah.
You have the choice.
It'll be the first HD Fire Emblem.
Yeah. Wow, yeah. That's totally true, actually.
Can't wait to see those battle animations.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And, like, not like Fire Emblem ever needed to be that graphically amazing, but
No, it
it's...
still looks great, even
it's-
like the old Game Boy Advance sprite ones.
Yeah, but, like, why not if you can
Yeah,
do that? Very exciting. Obviously, we know nothing about it. I'm trying to think if there's, like, certain, like, Fire Emblem mechanics that haven't been in a game in a long time that we want to see come back, or things like that.
Oh, let me think about that.
'Cause,
Okay,
like,
this is a bit of a risk even to mention, just because of the implications. But the characters who transform into animals, and I know this is just going to make me sound like a furry this entire section, and I apologize for that. Awakening and Fates both had, like, 2 characters that became animals, where Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance had them be such a huge part of the story. I'd love to see, like, them come back as just, like, one of the kingdoms or races or whatever the conflict is about. I'd love to see some sort of animal people that isn't just, like, one of them that's kind of a nod to the Radiant games. I'd like to see that come back as a bigger group.
Right, like an actual, like, political force
exactly
in the game. Absolutely.
I totally agree with that. And Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn did that so well with, like...
Yeah, for sure.
There being different, like, people, animal tribes, and, like, their conflict within themselves. Like, there was, like, a lot of different...
I mean, they did such a... God, those games were so good!
They were, right? And surprisingly, some of them were selling for Fire Emblem. Like,
it was a bad system for it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Like, I'm thinking about myself. I love Fire Emblem games. You know, from the Game Boy Advance one, that was just like the beginning of it all for me, anyway. And then Awakening is just one of my favorite games of all time.
Same here.
Yes, also same here.
I did not play a single console Fire Emblem game, and I think I gave it a shot, and then just couldn't. For whatever reason, they might be great games. I will never know, because I never gave them a shot. I could not get into it.
It's tough to sit down and commit to it.
But, like, I can't logically think about why I couldn't get into it.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to reason with it, and I can't. So, I'm sure that will change with this new Switch game, for me, hopefully.
I hope so. I mean, you can just play it on the go, then, since it's the Switch.
That's true. And maybe that was part of it. I love taking it and just playing anywhere. But... we'll see. I have no concerns that it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of Fire Emblem Fates. Like, that introduced some new classes that were really cool.
They were.
More so on the Hoshiden side.
I mean, Fates had a lot of ups and downs. I think it's probably the weakest story of any Fire Emblem game, but
maybe
had some really great changes to the mechanics, and I love the characters, personally, but I would love to see the weapons not breaking come back. That would be great. I know that's like a staple of Fire Emblem for such a long time, but after Fates and then Echoes, Echoes is maybe my favorite Fire Emblem game right now.
It's up there, yeah.
The presentation on that game is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But, like, I would love to just not have to worry about buying and finding new weapons over and over again.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, I'd like to use my own mental capacity to think about some other mechanic in the game.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to keep track of as is.
You know, but would it be crazy for them to make 2 different... You know how, like, they already have 2 different difficulties of the game? You know, they have, like, the, you know, basically the evergreen, like, your characters never die mechanic.
Right.
They could make unbreakable weapons part of that also.
That's
like,
true.
Like, it's not that crazy. For people who just want a straightforward, you know, non-super stressful gaming experience, like, they can...
Yeah.
The game can still be challenging, but not have those crazy implications. Like, that wouldn't be that unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, if you're talking about, like, really, really basic weapons, like Iron Lance, Iron Sword, like, I feel like those can break, but I think, you know, characters that have their own...
signature weapons.
Signature, like, sword that has a name, like, that should never break.
Ragno and
Yeah,
Falcon.
like, those should never break.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. And, like, maybe some other special kinds of weapons. I will tell you one thing that Fates did mechanically that I did not enjoy, which was them changing the weapon triangle. They, like... It was still where like lances beats swords, beats axes, beats lances, but they also incorporated like the like ninja star weapons into that, and the tomes. Like tomes beat ninja stars beat something else. Like I don't know,
some weird 6th weapon.
Yeah,
that, like, none of us can remember.
Like I didn't mind it so much, but I would like that changed if possible into something else.
I mean, flavor-wise, that might not even make sense for the next game. Like, we might not even see some of those weapons at all, so it might not be an issue.
Yeah, with Fire Emblem, they do seem to not be afraid to drop and pick up weapons left and right. I mean, not weapons, mechanics, just for whatever works. I mean, looking at the way that the support mechanic has changed throughout the history of the series, how in Genealogy there was, like, the full support with children thing.
Yeah.
And then... that was gone for the Game Boy Advance games, and then came back huge and then very gone in Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance, and then came back in Awakening in such a big force that it literally saved the series.
Yeah.
And just on the weapon triangle, Echoes didn't even have a weapon triangle.
That's true.
And I forgot that it existed for a while, because you just don't have any axe users in Echoes, and it works. It works fine.
Yeah. Echoes did so many
That's so
interesting
strange.
things. Yeah, because Fire Emblem Gaiden was
The
like,
second ever.
the second ever Fire Emblem, and like the dark horse of the franchise, where it tried so many weird
Much
different
like
things.
Super Mario Brothers 2 and Zelda 2 and Final
Yes.
Fantasy 2, Fire Emblem 2 was the weird one of the group.
All the twos.
Yeah.
Every franchise needs a weird game that it can get freaky with and
Yeah.
do weird stuff with. And
Basically, yeah.
like the third person aspect is interesting. You know,
Oh, yeah, running around in the...
that's an Echoes, right?
Yeah, that is an Echo. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
sorry. I was thinking Gaiden for a second, which...
Oh no, not the original one.
Right.
But
Yeah, so Gaiden had the little cave dungeons, but it did not have the free roaming running around the caves in third person part.
Yeah.
Which was obviously like the console could not handle that. So,
Could you... It would have been like a blockbuster game if the NES could run that.
It's just cool because Nintendo had the opportunity to test that out on a game that was already weird.
Yeah.
Like almost like a remake of a game that was already weird, so they just got weirder with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think of that? What did you think of the third person aspect?
I liked it.
I liked it fine. I think they didn't do enough with it.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like most of the caves ended up looking very similar and being mostly the same.
Yeah.
I think it would have been cool to like be able to go like outside across like some field in the... I mean, you go through like a forest at one point, but
yeah.
I would have liked it either integrated more or not worried about it. I mean, my biggest issue with Echoes, and perhaps my own DLC not included, and the whole DLC debacle with Echoes, my biggest issue, and perhaps my only issue with the core game of Echoes, is that you can't take all your units into the caves with you. You can only take 10, even though on every other map you could have all your units in one battle, which I loved. Like,
Yeah.
no other Fire Emblem game does that, where you can have your whole army on the map at one time.
Yeah, that was kind of nuts.
And so that's not even a huge complaint. Like, I'm so scared that the next game won't have full voice acting or voice acting as great as Echoes was, because that really made the game for me. How
The voice
the
acting.
art was beautiful and the voices were fantastic, and
Yes.
like, it's amazing how much that changed my perception of it.
You know what? I'm going to predict that they do stick with the good voice acting, because we even see in the mobile game in Fire Emblem Heroes,
That's true.
don't they have great voice
They
voice
do.
for
They
each
do.
character?
Every character has its own art and voice, and that is...
So
Yeah.
why would they not put that same effort into the new
True.
groundbreaking Switch Fire Emblem? I see them continuing that.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope you're
They
right.
should, at least.
Yeah, the voice acting was really solid in Echoes, and it honestly like brought like this is gonna sound cheesy, but like it brought the characters to life. Like it
for real.
gave them even more personality.
I'm endeared to the cast of Echoes, maybe more so than any other Fire Emblem cast as a whole, just because I remember them so well because of that. It
Yeah.
really had an impact.
I mean, I feel like I can speak a little bit for all of us when I say that, like, for even the Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem, for a game with no voice acting and you're just reading the text, like, and with, like, very little actual character development outside of the little bit of plot that it had, like, you felt attached to these characters.
Oh, for sure.
Without any voice at all. Like, so it's, you know, they already have this great ability to, you know, make us care about the characters before the voice acting. If they can really go all in on that, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It makes you care even more. And, man, playing in the version where your characters do die, when they have real voices,
It's rough.
how much you gonna care then?
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Yeah.
I don't know. They really get you in that way.
Yeah. So this has become our Fire Emblem podcast, I guess.
We all love Fire Emblem.
We do.
Yeah,
And
you're in the presence of a bunch of fanboys right now, so it's
whatever
okay.
whatever they announce for the Switch Fire Emblem game, I'm totally on board with it. I trust them implicitly. Like,
Yeah.
I love what they've been doing. So
It seems to have been in development for a decent amount of time now.
Oh,
so, we're ready for it. Let's see it.
You know, just when things seemed darkest, right? Awakening came out and just blew everyone away.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely, yeah.
it was basically a dead franchise already when Awakening came out, because the last game before Awakening wasn't released in the U.S. again. The first one since they had ever been released in the U.S. not to be.
Yeah.
So because of that, I think, you know, they regained everyone's trust. I mean, look at how much, you know, success those characters have had even outside of Fire Emblem.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Fire Emblem's become one of Nintendo's flagship series for sure. It's like their big strategy game.
Don't call it a comeback.
So I'll jump ship just to keep us moving.
Yeah.
And just say, where's Pikmin 4? Miyamoto, you've been talking about it for 4 or 5 years now, to the point where you've said in interviews that Nintendo has asked you to stop talking about it. Please give us Pikmin 4. That's all I have to say on that. I hope it's there. I don't think it will be, but I'd love to see it finally.
I'm in total agreement with you. It's about time, especially like when was it last year? There was a new Pikmin game announced for the 3DS that was a
Hey,
spin-off.
Pikmin!
Yeah, it was a spin-off and like not a real Pikmin game.
No.
Yeah, I think Pikmin fans miss it, and even people who like don't play a lot of Pikmin, like even myself, like I love Pikmin even though I don't play it a lot, and I would love to see Pikmin 4.
Yeah,
Like,
we've had so much fun with the multiplayer on Pikmin 3 before we even started SkyJam. Like, I want whatever. Give me 4-player Pikmin game in some capacity.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah,
Nintendo, you want to continue like the social, get people together to play fun, colorful games plan? Make Pikmin 4 happen.
Yeah.
Think about how beautiful that would look on the Switch too.
The Pikmin games are like historically some of the best looking games Nintendo makes on each of their systems. Pikmin 1 and 2 were breathtaking on the GameCube, and Pikmin 3 looks incredible on the Wii U. I can't imagine how good it would look on the Switch.
Yeah, and like the amount of time in between Pikmin 3 and now is like...
Yeah, and they're thinking about it enough to give it a spin-off of Hey Pikmin.
Right.
What franchise ends with a spin-off? Like,
yeah,
you get one of those when they're still in consideration.
Something that was sort of rumored, not really sure it's going to happen yet, but some people seem to be convinced, some people are really skeptical.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Is what Retro Studios has been working on, and some people think that
there have been some like questionable leaks.
Yeah, that it might be a Star Fox Grand Prix game.
Star Fox racing game.
Yeah.
In the style of Diddy Kong Racing with an adventure mode and an overworld to go to the different racetracks and boss battles and all that.
Yeah. Which at first, I will say, I'm a huge Star Fox fan. But when I heard that, and like knowing that Retro Studios has been working on something for years, I was like, really? Like that's the idea.
A racing game?
Yeah, like a Star Fox racing game is what you've been working on for years. But I even talked to Skyler about it, and he made me feel better about it, saying like,
hello.
Hey, yeah, that's you.
me.
You were telling me like, well, if they've been working on it for years, like,
it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
Retro Studios has put out 5 games, and they're all phenomenal. So I'm not
right. Yeah, these are the people who started Metroid Prime.
Yeah,
so.
And I will just say, just picture this: a racing game where you can shoot at other players from your cart.
Right. That has some potential.
Do we not have this already? Mario Kart.
Well, that you have to pick up the item and then throw one shell or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like having a shoot button on your ship.
Sure. I'm going to play the role of Negative Nelly here and say that there are racing game franchises that need new, like F-Zero. We have Falcon and F-Zero, and they refuse to make a new F-Zero game.
Yeah.
But they'll put Star Fox in a racing cart? Are we kidding?
Well, don't forget, at the end of Star Fox Command, one of like the 12 endings was them joining F-Zero. So this could just be a continuation of that.
Okay, if Captain Falcon shows up in that game, I'm all for it.
Yeah. What if he is a Falcon?
Ooh.
Then it's a sign of the end of times. He's assumed his final form.
And then him,
It's just Rivali.
I was gonna say, it's him, Falco, and Rivali, and they all just like triple high five.
Oh my god.
And then they go out to Falcon lunch.
Hey!
Oh my god. Stop. I will say that I agree that F-Zero positively deserves a new game and should absolutely get a new racing game. I do think if they're set on this idea to make a Diddy Kong Racing style racing adventure mode game, Star Fox is a great franchise to do it with, because it has so many characters with a bunch of different personalities, and the whole vehicles have always been present in Star Fox.
That's true. We hear racing game and we immediately think, I think everybody's first thought is, like Mario Kart, where you're racing, like, it could be, racing through space, like not on a track, just point A to point B, kind of.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, honestly, even if you think about like the traditional Star Fox format where you're, forward scrolling through space, if you had 4 people doing a similar thing, like, getting farther ahead of each other is kind of tricky to figure out, but like make it more of like an obstacle course with items that can be picked up along the way, and you're competing for those resources, like like in other racing games. But you're right, that would definitely make it unique compared to Mario Kart.
I think there's a lot of potential with it, and I mean, I'm not a huge racing game person myself, and I've only ever played Star Fox Zero from the Star Fox series, so neither side of this is something I'm like super invested in going into it, but I'm really excited for what this could be.
Exactly. That's kind of how I feel about it. Like, I think it very easily could be great. I think it very easily could go wrong in some ways, but it's the kind of weird enough idea that I think Nintendo would do well.
Yeah.
So...
And it looks like, I mean, just from what Retro Studios has done in the past, it seems like Nintendo gives franchises to them to work on when Nintendo themselves don't have the time and resources to do something in that franchise.
Yeah.
So them working on Star Fox also rings like they've done Metroid and Donkey Kong. Now Star Fox, that seems to be like right on par with like what they work on.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, it could all be not true. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be completely false after all this. Are there any games you guys like think could be shown off from franchises that we haven't seen in a while? Or
I could give you one more thing that they've talked about before. Just before we move on to like our predictions of what from nowhere. I think we're going to get a release date for Yoshi's Switch game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that exists.
Yeah, that was shown last year at E3, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot with it. So I'm sure that'll be done this year. And Yoshi.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Was there anything else that they've shown off that isn't out yet? Like, they've been pretty good at only showing things off the year they come out recently.
I mean, not that any of us actually care about this game, but Mario Tennis, is that coming out soon?
Hey, you know what? Back in the day, a game that we never owned, I loved playing Mario Tennis at friends' houses.
Yeah.
No,
really enjoyed that game.
It's definitely a popular...
I will say, the story trailer won me over because the Infinity Gauntlet seems to be in it in the shape of a tennis racket. It's a golden tennis racket with 5 orbs that you attach to it, and then you have all this power. And Waluigi and Wario turn to stone, and Luigi gets consumed by this darkness. And I don't know what's happening.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Luigi seems like he might be the villain of this game.
This is his chance. He's
going to do it.
He is the best, and he's about to prove it.
The Luigi death there from Mario Kart 8 was just a warning of what was to come in Mario sport games. Also, Chain Chomp is in it. He holds a tennis racket in his mouth and keeps the tennis ball on his head when he's serving. So there's a lot to love.
Okay, that's kind of cute.
That is great news.
But yeah,
but this dark Luigi.
I'll show you the trailer after this.
Captivated right now.
It's not what I expected from the story trailer.
I'm not gonna say I expected that.
Well, the Mario Golf and Tennis on the Game Boy Advance had full story modes, and it looks like they're finally going back to that.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
There's a lot that could be done with that, and we'll see how it turns out. I'm not a sport game fan myself, so I don't know if I'll pick it up, but if Luigi goes full villain, like, it'll be hard not to.
Yeah, right. I could be proven totally wrong. It could be great.
Yes.
It's actually a very convoluted sequel to the Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, it actually is the next Fire Emblem game. Mario Tennis Ultra Fast.
You wanted Metroid Prime 4? Here it is.
Mario and Luigi are the Cain and Abel of this one. The Red and Green same class.
I'm just trying to think of like other franchises that deserve new games at this point. I think Animal Crossing is one of them.
Oh my god, yeah. So I personally didn't expect Animal Crossing to get a Switch game until next year, but they completely redid the Animal Crossing website and just wiped it clean.
Oh, really?
Seemingly in preparation for something.
Huh.
And so I would not be surprised to see it at E3, or at least sometime before the end of the year.
That's pretty telling.
The demand for Animal Crossing Switch, at least in the circles I run in online, is overwhelming. It's gonna happen eventually. Animal Crossing is huge, and New Leaf was 2012, I think.
Jeez, yeah.
Death, taxes, and Animal Crossing. The only things that are sure in life.
That's right.
They will always exist.
And 2 of those exist in Animal Crossing. Taxes and Animal Crossing. Whatever they do with Animal Crossing, I'm totally on board. It seems like every Animal Crossing game is better than the previous one, spin-offs not included, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that's... I didn't know that about the website. That's actually pretty interesting, and it could really mean something.
Definitely means something.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to get Mario Maker 2. Or some form of sequel to Mario Maker on the Switch. Mario Maker is the biggest... Other than Smash, which we know is coming, is the biggest Wii U game in terms of success that hasn't had a Switch equivalent. We got Splatoon 2, we got Smash Switch coming, I think we're going to get Mario Maker 2. Which I am itching for so badly, because I keep plugging in my Wii U to play Mario Maker at home because I still love that game so much. There is so much to be done there. And even if it's like Zelda Maker or some other Maker, like I think we're going to get a Switch Maker game. I think it will be Mario Maker 2, but we'll see. And there's a lot they can add in there. There's tons of enemies that aren't in it. Slopes would be nice. I just really want more of that stage creator gameplay of sharing the stages. Because remember the huge like cultural hit Mario Maker was of people, like, every YouTuber was playing.
It was pretty heavily streamed.
Yeah, It was a huge streaming game.
Absolutely.
A huge speedrunning game, too. The speedrunning races of Mario Maker. Like, I want to see that all come to the Switch so badly.
Yeah, obviously the ability to make stages is incredible, but, like, the sharing aspect of it and playing other people's stages online and, you know, building stages for your friends and, like, it's such a great social game in that way.
It's a great example of a community game.
Yeah.
And really. it works so well for the Switch. Imagine, it already had, you could make your level at your home and then send them online. Now you can make your level at home and just bring it to your friend's house and let them play it, it works. Too well for the Switch. Yeah. As does Pokemon Snap. We're not getting Pokemon Snap 2 as much as I want that.
I do remember last year we did go on a rant about that and how much we wanted that.
I will go on this rant about Pokemon Snap 2 every day as I have for my life this far.
Think about how advanced they could make the Pokemon Snap camera with the Switch.
I know.
It could be so cool.
Imagine a Pokemon Snap game. I don't want to make this into a big tangent like we did Fire Emblem, but imagine a Pokemon Snap game where it's not on rails. Where you're actively moving around and trying not to startle the Pokemon, taking pictures of them, laying bait out and hiding in the bushes and stuff like that.
It's a great point.
Oh, the potential.
Anyway, that's my...
Could be in just an open world game.
Give me Breath of the Wild, but instead of swords, you have a camera and it's Pokemon.
They do all of that what you just said, except for Pokemon.
Yeah, I know that. I love that aspect of Breath of the Wild.
Possible.
It's completely within the realm of doability.
And Pokemon's a big enough franchise, obviously, where it could be on the scale of a Breath of the Wild game.
Yeah, they just announced 2 other spin-offs. Right?
Yeah, right.
If we get a 5th Pokemon Ranger before Pokemon Snap 2, I will punch through a wall. But no offense if you love Pokemon Ranger. I also enjoyed the Pokemon Ranger, but how did that series get 4 sequels and Snap didn't?
Yeah. Oh man, we can dream.
Yeah. Kevin, did you have any?
On that note, don't let your memes be dreams. No, I have nothing else to add.
You have nothing else to add? Okay. James, did you have any other games?
Just one more quick thing is obviously Breath of the Wild was recent enough where we're not going to get another Zelda game for a while.
Hey, Majora's Mask was made in a year. Let's do it. Breath of the Wild sequel. No, I'm kidding.
Great.
Can you imagine?
But do you think it's possible we could get a Zelda spin-off, kind of like a Triforce Heroes type game where it wouldn't take long to make and would kind of be a stepping stone in between this and the next major Zelda game?
Here's what I'm gonna say: A, yes. B, it'll be on the 3DS for some reason, and C, nobody will buy it.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
Probably true.
I love that though. You're right. I think we're almost certainly going to get something Mario, whether it's Maker or otherwise. Odyssey's out, and we get 4 Mario games a year. So, right. I guess tennis. We've already talked about so much Mario. Never mind.
But yeah,
WarioWare on the Switch would be great, but they've got one coming to the 3DS already.
Yeah.
Mother 3. Is this the year?
Mother 3.
Could this be the year?
They've teased it for a long time now.
We're not getting Mother 3.
I know. Yeah, I mean, no matter how long this podcast is, there's going to be something we'll never expect that happens.
That's the fun of it. I could not have predicted ARMS.
Right?
No one was ready.
Nobody was ready for ARMS. I certainly couldn't have predicted Splatoon or how big that would become. Mm-hmm. I still remember that E3, watching the Splatoon trailer for the first time, just being as the mechanics of the game were explained to me, I kind of this light bulb turned on in my head, oh my god! Yeah. Not only is this going to be big, I want to play this immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, Splatoon was a genius new franchise for them.
More new franchises, I'm all for it. As much as I want to see the return of other old ones, I want to see Golden Sun finally finish that cliffhanger. I want to see F-Zero come back, but if they have fun new franchise ideas like that, keep doing that.
Yeah, it seems to be working.
They've got that balance really well right now between new and old stuff coming out. So
yeah,
I think
Anything else to add?
I think that's just a good transition into Smash Brothers, since Inklings are the first confirmed newcomer.
Ooh.
So we'll be talking to you all next time about our hopes, expectations, and wish lists for Smash Brothers, I suppose.
Yeah, next podcast.
Next podcast.
Next podcast.
Next podcast.
Next podcast.
Woo!